Hello and welcome to another screencast feedback session. So this time we have another student. So she has written the same answer. She has responded to the same question as I have uploaded the videos on, which is some people think that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. Others argue that happiness depends on different factors. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So as always, she had to write about 250 words, so I always recommend going above it. So let's see how much she wrote. So she wrote 311 words, so that's a very good word count. So it's a little high, but I do not normally penalize my students for writing very many words as long as you can write it in the time allotted to you, which is about 40 minutes. So that's fine. You can even write you can even write 1,000 words if you can actually have time to do it. So let's start reading. In a fast-paced capitalized economy, finding the true essence of happiness is necessary. Alright, so she is talking about both views, but she is not directly addressing any of the views. So again, one view is that some people think that personal happiness is directly related to money, and the other view is that money cannot buy happiness. There are other things besides money that can constitute to happiness. So she hasn't touched either of the views in the first sentence, but she has commented on them, so it's not irrelevant. So let's see the second sentence. Most chase after success as they believe it is equivalent to the number of skills and time one bears. Okay, so this is directly related to the first view, who thinks that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. So here, instead of economic success, she talked about number of skills and time, right? So it's not directly money. So let's see what she wrote afterward. While some believe that happiness can only be achieved through economic success, so this is the first view, the idea of leading a blissful life. So blissful is a synonym of happy, so that's a good point. She will get marks for this in lexical resource in this criterion. So the idea of leading a blissful life depends on having good companies, hobbies, adventures, and memories. So let me just mark this in blue because it's a good example of a good vocabulary item. Equivalent is also good. And this is also a complex sentence, so she will get marks for grammatical range. So it was a fine introduction. It could have been better if it was more focused on the two views, right? So this is the question prompt. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So one thing I really like about this paragraph, this introductory paragraph, is that her opinion is very clear from the very start of this essay. Let's read this sentence again. While some believe that happiness can only be achieved through economic success, the idea of leading a blissful life depends on having good companies, hobbies, adventures, and memories. So she is subtly arguing that money cannot buy happiness. She doesn't spell it out in this introductory paragraph, but she is implying that, and it's quite clear. So I like this introductory paragraph regarding this part of the task response, which to give her own opinion, but she could have done a little bit better on this one, discussing both views. So moving on to the second paragraph, and also while it's also a linking phrase, let's just mark it in green. It's also a link in a capitalized, fast-paced capitalized economy. So she will get marks for this. Discourse markers, organizing writing skills. Organization skills. People require human connections that rejoice from networks. So that's a good word. The knowledge of art, music, and education has better recognition that may help gain a more long-lasting form of happiness. Good sentence. Traveling on a budget to different countries for adventure and building deep and meaningful connections with friends and family leads to a life without atonement. Okay, so let's skim this sentence. Traveling on a budget to different countries for adventure and building deep and meaningful connections with friends and family. So these are two different things, right? Traveling and then building deep and meaningful connections. It's not totally different, but it is not the same. So there are two subject nouns, right? So it will be, it's a plural subject, so it will be lead, right? So let me just mark it so that she can see the feedback. Lead to a life without atonement. So I am curious why she used the word atonement, because atonement, the word atonement refers to like salvation, like you have committed some sins, you have committed some like some bad deeds, and you are apologizing for it, you are making up for it, right? So is this actually appropriate for this sentence? Let me take another look. On a budget to different countries for adventure and building deep and meaningful connections with friends and family lead to a life without atonement. So I think that she could have used a better word, for example, for a life without, or for to a fulfilling life, right? For a life with much or significant or sufficient fulfillment or inner peace, not only about consumerism, not only about about materialistic life, but also about inner peace, right? Something like that. So I don't think the word atonement is that much appropriate in this part. So in this sentence, let me just write inappropriate in this context. Let me zoom out a little. Yeah. Buying products may provide happiness, but it remains quite temporary. Right, so she's again talking about the consumerist culture, right? While picturing oneself living the life of the elite. Shouldn't there be an it here, comma and it? While picturing oneself living the life of the elite, comma, it would be meaningless if one only struggles to make these values meet regularly. Or it can be like this: while picturing oneself, comma, living the life of the elite would be meaningless if one only struggles to make these values meet regularly. So what values is she talking about? I think she's talking about like materialism, right? Materialistic culture. So normally when we talk about values, it's mostly about something ideological, and it's not really related to consumer culture, but theoretically it does relate to it. So I'm not going to mark it down, but I think the word meet, values meet, to make these values, I think a better synonym could be used. Use another word to. Alright, so there is another issue with this paragraph. So it's about cohesion. Alright, so she has not used that many linking words. Has she? No, she hasn't. This is one linking word. So there is a lack of linking words in this paragraph. Let me just mark it. Linking words, phrases. Another thing is that her topic sentence. What was her topic sentence? It was about human connections, right? And this part, the knowledge of art, music, and education, has better recognition that may help gain a more lasting form of happiness. So is it related to building human connections? I don't think it's that much related. So this does not flow well in this paragraph. What about the next sentence? Traveling on a budget to different countries for adventure and building deep and meaningful connections with friends and family. I think this is right. This is a good sentence for this that belongs to this paragraph. However, this sentence, buying products may provide happiness, but it remains quite temporary. While picturing oneself living the life of the elite would be meaningless if one only struggles to make these values meet regularly. No, I don't think that she structured this paragraph well. Like, she went back and forth. She talked about one view, which is building, not one view, but she started talking about building human connections. She talked about it in the middle of the paragraph, but in the second sentence she talked mostly about something else, and then afterwards she went on to go back to the other view, which is that buying products may provide happiness. Like, if you believe in a materialistic like ideology, like you buy more, whatever you buy you get happiness, if you can buy more you get more happiness. So she switches to talking about that, and it's not like you have to write only about human connections in this paragraph. It is also alright if you compare both the views, but I think that the comparison wasn't completely related to only human connections. She went more into materialistic culture, right? So let me comment it here again. Stick to one main idea per paragraph. If you want to discuss both views in one paragraph, make sure that the link is crystal clear and that you do not lose focus. Alright, so moving on to the next paragraph. It's a very short paragraph instead, so this is a good thing. It's a linking word. Instead, the time people may spend on inventing themselves into a better version of themselves is the ultimate journey that everyone must embark on. So embark is a good word. A better version of themselves is also a good phrase. However, I don't like the word must that she used here, so we shouldn't say that things must be like this, you have to do things like this or something. She could have written something like should or ought to, right? Do not use must or have to. Alright. Surely to achieve this revelation of their inner qualities, they required the aid of adventures, love, and compassion from their fellow acquaintances. So this is also a good word. Revelation of their inner qualities. Inner qualities, let me mark that part. So these are very good vocabulary items. However, again, another problem I have with this paragraph, it's a significant one, is that she stated, it's like she reiterated her points that she made here. She extended those points here. However, in a paragraph, in an academic paragraph, what we should do is that when we state a main idea, we have to follow it up with extended examples. I suggest my students to write at least 2 sentences after each statement. So the statement in this, the topic sentence was that people should spend time to find a better version of themselves, right? And then afterwards she could have written something like people should meditate, or should set aside about 30 minutes each day, or at least 10 to 15 minutes each day before going to sleep to think about what they did, or make a to-do list, or make or recount or reflect on the things that they did throughout the day, things like that, right? So whatever main idea is written, you have to expand them. So she didn't do it, unfortunately, even though her vocabulary is very, very rich, mashallah, but she is getting penalized for task response. Alright, moving on. Securing monetary success. So this is also another good word. Monetary success also is another good term. By climbing the chain of the economy. This is also good. Is only a part of life. It helps to spend or gain value through buying objects. Through buying, purchasing, through... I think she wrote purchasing before, so it's fine if she writes buying. Again, technology. So this is a linking word. I love me some linking words. Again, technology has led people to fixate. That's a very good word. To fixate on comparing themselves with others through marketing products for almost everything. Okay, so she is again sticking to the second view, which is that money cannot buy happiness, right? She hasn't talked that much about money being able to buy happiness. She hasn't discussed the first view that very often, actually. Yeah. As a result, so this is another linking phrase. While money, this also can purchase luxury items. So she states this, but she doesn't actually go in depth in this view to explaining this view. It cannot provide happiness that sustains. This is a good word. Sustains from human connection. I don't think the word from is required here, right? That sustains human connection, right? It sustains. So this is redundant as far as I know. It cannot provide happiness that sustains human connection and socializing with loved ones. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. I believe this is the last paragraph. This is a linking word. Therefore, while achieving success through economic stability, this is a good word, provides a form of happiness. I would have written something like provides a singular form of happiness, so it's not the only form. The value of purchasing objects cannot be the sole purpose. This is also good. Sole purpose of gaining a peaceful life. Okay. Of gaining or of leading, right? The word leading is more appropriate, or there could be others on the from the top of my head. Leading is the only thing that jumps to mind. Yeah. Or even leaving, right? I mean living. Living a peaceful life. It carries a generic and shallow narrative. Very good choice of words. Since individuals have to learn about their surroundings and themselves through adventures and creating bonds under a social system. Okay, again, it is very clear what her stance is. Her stance is that money cannot buy happiness. It is only one part. However, she hasn't actually talked about this view. The question says, discuss both views and give your opinion. So this part, her opinion is very crystal clear. And this part is also very well developed. Unfortunately, this part is not. So let me go to the marking. Task response, which is that you have well developed arguments for the second view, but unfortunately not for the first. Not for the first. The second thing is paragraphing, right? Oh, that's not in task response though. Yeah, that's the only feedback I'll give for task response. Let's see what she will get. She's not getting 9. Fully addresses all parts of the task. No. Sufficiently addresses all parts of the task. Presents a well-developed response to the question with relevant, extended, and supported ideas. So this is tricky. She has presented extended and supported ideas for most of her points, but not for all. And she also hasn't addressed one major part of the task. So I'm not sure if she's getting an 8. Let's go to 7. Addresses all parts of the task. She did briefly touch on the first view. Presents a clear position throughout the response. Yes, this is right. Presents, extends, and supports main ideas, but there may be a tendency to overgeneralize and or supporting ideas may lack focus. Yes, I think she is getting a 7. Still, let's go to 6 and see. This is all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others. Presents a relevant position through, although the conclusions may become unclear or repetitive. Presents relevant main ideas, but some may be inadequately developed or unclear. I think she's getting a 7. Okay, so coherence and cohesion. So this is about paragraphing and of course the discourse markers, the linking words. How many did she write? 1, 2. I think this is fine for the first paragraph, but here there is seriously a lack of it. Here also she only wrote 1. Oh, 1, 2, 3. This para is fine. This para, I would suggest her to use a little bit more. Use some more linking words / phrases. You can also call them discourse markers, but yeah, this is much clearer, I guess. Let's see what she will get. And also paragraphing, right? Let me give her a suggestion here. So she talked about 2 things here. One is human connections and another is buying products, right? But she also continued this part here, buying products, and here as well. No, here she didn't write about buying products. She didn't write about consumer culture here. She wrote about cultivating one's own personality, right? Inner peace, inner qualities. So I would extend this paragraph and take some parts of this paragraph and copy paste it here. So yeah, some paragraphing issues. Oh, and that's not here, that should be here. Alright, so what is she getting here? Use cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention, skillfully manages paragraphing, sequences information and ideas logically, manages all aspects of a cohesion well, uses paragraphing sufficiently and appropriately, logically organizes information and ideas, there is clear progression throughout. Uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there may be some under or overuse. Yes, there was some underuse. Presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. Unfortunately, she did not do that. See, that's why I was harping on too much about this. Like, there should be one central topic within each paragraph. Arranges information and ideas coherently, and there is a clear overall progression. I think, yes, she does satisfy this requirement. Uses cohesive devices effectively, but cohesion within and or between sentences may be faulty or mechanical, may not always use referencing clearly or appropriately, uses paragraphing but not always logically. I'm veering more towards a 6 than a 7, although there are some parts of 7 that she fulfilled. Since I gave her a 7 here, I think I'll give her a 6 here. Lexical resource, she's going to get very good marks for this. I think she may even get a 9. No, because she used some inappropriate words. Atonement, meet, and gaining, right? Yeah, some inappropriate words like atonement, right? Other way. Very good. Let's see. Uses a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. Uses a wide range of vocabulary fluently and flexibly to convey precise meanings. Yes, she does fulfill this criteria. Skillfully uses uncommon lexical items, but there may be occasional inaccuracies in word choice. Yes. Produces rare errors. Let's come on with some awareness. Might produce occasional errors. No, it wasn't occasional. Rare errors, I would say. Yeah, and since it's a combination of 8 and 7, and although I'm veering toward 8 more than 7, still there is a dilemma. So since I gave her a low mark here, I am making up for it by giving her an 8 here. Finally, grammatical range and accuracy. So there are two things here, of course. Accuracy, which means grammatical mistakes have to be few and far in between. And range, it refers to a variety of simple sentences, complex and compound sentences. So let's see. Simple sentences, compound, right? No. Complex sentences, simple. Yeah, there are some complex sentences throughout the essay here as well. Compound, complex. Yeah, there is a variety of complex and compound sentences. Yeah, she may even get a 9 here. Let's see. Uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility and accuracy. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. So she didn't actually make she only made one significant grammatical mistake, which was this one, but that was a hard mistake. I mean, that was a difficult grammatical item to begin with. Other things that my Grammarly account is seeing, like capitalized with a Z, that's not really a mistake. That she chose to follow the UK English, British English. Yeah, so I think she's getting a 9 here. Let's still go to 8. Use a range of structures. The majority of sentences are error-free. Makes only very occasional errors or inappropriacies. I think she's getting a 9 here in grammatical range and accuracy. Great. You deserve it. Hahaha. Alright, so let's add these up. 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So what's the average? 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 7.5, right? Let's still see. 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8. So what's wrong with my keyboard? Let me write it again, sorry. 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 divided by 4. Yeah, perfectly 7.5. So you can get, even though 7.5 is a very good score, you have a high possibility of getting an 8 or an 8.5 if you can just look at these. So I think that these are very teachable mistakes. So once I have pointed them out to you, you should be able to take care of them in the next phase. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and please subscribe to my channel.